Tonight, a deal to deal with our excess garbage is almost done.
This site is going to be a landfill. It's been approved to be a landfill site. It will be a landfill site.
City Council votes to buy a private landfill in the city's East End. The facility approved to accept 450,000 tons of waste each year. It's time to register first-timers for kindergarten and start thinking ahead to the next school year.
We need some solid information to help us make decisions.
But some parents say they need answers about programming at OCDSB schools to make crucial decisions for their kids. And a public servant denied coverage of a weight loss drug for her chronically ill daughter.
That's exceptionally disappointing for me and very worrisome about insurance being able to dictate treatment for kids.
Says she is running out of options. Good evening. The capital is under a snowfall warning tonight as the city prepares for what could be the biggest winter storm of the season. Environment Canada is calling for up to 25 centimeters of snow, and that, mixed with the puddles and slush currently covering roads and sidewalks, will cause a messy commute tomorrow.
The morning commute will be rather difficult and treacherous perhaps in some areas. I mean, this kind of snow is fluffy snow, so it can be picked up easily and deposited several times before it begins to settle down.
Temperatures are also expected to plunge overnight, meaning all of that melted snow could freeze and create slippery conditions. As we take a live look now at traffic on the Queensway, it was pouring rain earlier today and through much of the day. Right now, we're kind of in that interim period before any rain turns into flurries this evening and then into heavier snow overnight and into tomorrow. As we take a live look through our downtown sky cam, well, a little bit of messy stuff on the glass there already. The temperatures are going to be drastically different when you wake up tomorrow. We've been on the plus side all day, but that will not be the case tomorrow morning, as we want to go to Jackie now, who is at the site of a future outdoor rink in Herongate with more on what we can expect. Jackie.
Yeah, that's right, Patricia. I mean, you mentioned it. It was very rainy today, left a lot of puddles on the road, a lot of slush as well, a lot of the snow melting, but we are concerned with the deep freeze that is moving through, where we could see temperatures feeling more like minus 23 into the early morning. So it will not only be slick roads, but we will also get that snowfall moving in, where Environment Canada calling between 15 to 20 centimeters of rain or snow, I should say. And taking a look at temperatures right now, still mild conditions, 2 to 3 degrees really for most of eastern Ontario. But the big question is on many people's mind, when can we expect this snow? Here's a closer look right now, a bit of a break for the rain and the precipitation, but closer to midnight, especially around Kingston and Brockville, we could see the snow starting to push through. Don't be surprised by tomorrow morning when we could see this for most of eastern Ontario, and it will steadily move in. The greatest chance for heavier snow for here in Ottawa will be closer to the 3 o'clock hour. So while we do anticipate that the snow will be a little bit of a slick and a struggle in the morning, it will be much more treacherous for the evening. So in terms of commuting, in terms of the snow falling through, it's not going to be a pretty one for tomorrow. We'll have a closer look at these details and the temperature as well, because temperatures are really going to dip starting this evening. But we'll send it back to you in studio for now.
All right, Jackie, thank you. Well, residents in Ottawa will soon be the new owners of a new landfill. Council voting to go ahead with the purchase of the East End site today, but much of the detail, including the cost, still hidden under a non-disclosure agreement. The private landfill is located on Boundary Road between Devine Road and Highway 417. CTV's Leah Larocque joins us now with more on this. Leah.
Well, Patricia, it's no secret. Ottawa has a garbage problem. The current dump at Trail Road is running out of space. So the mayor calls this a unique opportunity, saying it isn't every day a private landfill goes up for sale. But we just don't know the price tag.
Is this piece of land a solution to Ottawa's garbage problem? The city thinks so.
Mayor Sutcliffe.
Yes.
Council voting 20-5 to move forward with buying the 192-hectare planned private landfill. It's owned by Taggart Miller Environmental Services.
This site is going to be a landfill. The question before us was simply whether it would be owned by the people of Ottawa, where the City of Ottawa would be able to take input from the community.
The mayor insists this is in the city's best interest. But until the sale is final, Council is bound by a confidentiality agreement.
Senior city staff will now negotiate an agreement to buy the landfill, and they will report back to councillors once the deal is finished. That is expected to happen by the end of March. But because of that confidentiality agreement, we won't know the price tag or any other details until the deal is finalized.
Councillor Skalski.
No.
The councillor whose ward includes the landfill voted no.
I didn't think this process was fair for residents. I have concerns with the acquisition itself. Whoever owns it is going to have to ensure the protection of groundwater, the protection of the environment.
In Carlsbad Springs, not far from the site, residents don't like the secrecy.
What price? What's tied to the price? We have nothing. Nothing, like it's in a void. Yeah. So that's the part that gets us a little worked up.
Truck traffic will be a big thing because when the study was done 10 years ago, they anticipated around 800 trucks per day.
No matter what the city pays for this landfill, there are still some big decisions ahead.
Incineration is not a permitted use on the site right now. That doesn't mean that it would preclude us from going through another environmental assessment process in the future. That's also tied to council's directions in 2027.
We should know more hopefully by the end of March when staff reports back to councillors. But this is just part of the solution to ease pressure on the Trail Road dump. The mayor says the city could still build an incinerator, which would cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Patricia.
CTV's Leah LaRocque live for us tonight. Thank you. We do have more details on our website about the private landfill in the East End, which the city will soon own. You can visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. Still ahead, missing those speed cameras. Residents in one neighborhood say the pedal is to the metal now that the cameras have gone dark. That story coming up. Well, students just got back from holiday break last week, but many parents are already looking ahead to next school year. Kindergarten registration is now open, but some parents are raising concerns about the future of their schools as the Ottawa Carleton District School Board moves ahead with the elimination of alternative schools and Middle French Immersion. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has been sorting through some of this today. Caitlin.
Yeah, Patricia, for a lot of parents, there are a lot of unknowns. Families are being asked to make big decisions whether to change schools or even split up their siblings, all while they wait for clarity about the future of their schools.
The loudest voice we've heard in this community is that parents want their kids here in the neighborhood.
Bob Gordon's daughters are in kindergarten and grade 6 at Lady Evelyn, one of 4 K-6 alternative schools in the Ottawa Carleton District School Board now being phased out.
That's become an acceptance for us. What we were really hoping for is that there would be programming continued.
Former trustees approved the program elimination last spring along with Middle French Immersion, a decision upheld after the province took over the school board last year, leaving families with 2 options, English with core French and early French immersion.
We had hoped at some capacity that they were going to start including the immersion program.
He believes that could help stem declining enrollment after parents were told there would be no new junior kindergarten intakes and no transfers into the alternative system. But the board says there's no immediate plan to phase in new programming, according to an email sent to parents in December.
That's what you start to worry about when you start seeing an empty school. What's the board going to consider for what's going to happen next to the school?
And it's not just parents at Lady Evelyn concerned about their school's future, but parents here at First Avenue Public Schools say with the elimination of Middle French Immersion, they're concerned about what that means for their kids moving forward.
We love First Avenue as a school. I would love to keep my son there, but I'm really uncertain about the future viability of the school if we don't have French immersion.
Aaron Gilmer's son is in senior kindergarten. In an email to parents, the principal confirms the 2026-27 school year is the last chance to register for Middle French Immersion before it's phased out, adding the board has not yet determined if early French Immersion will be offered at First Avenue in the future, with more official guidance expected in the coming weeks.
We need some solid information to help us make decisions. For us, if we wanted to pursue a transfer to the same school that his friends will be going to for French immersion, we've got until February 6th to apply for that transfer. So that doesn't leave us much time to make a decision.
CTV News reached out to both the school board and Ministry of Education for clarification, but has not heard back. In that letter sent to parents in December, Education Director Stacey Kay says the board is working through overcrowding and long-term planning for the future use and boundaries of the alternative school sites,
along with a timeline. Patricia?
Parents are trying to do their homework, but it's tough. All right, CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Thank you. And you can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We do have more on the OCDSB changes to elementary programming. Well, a plan to build 4 high-rise towers could change the skyline in the city's East End. A developer has submitted an application to the city to build 4 high-rise towers on Tweddle Road at Jeanne d'Arc Boulevard near Petrie Island. The towers would range between 24 and 32 stories and would have more than 1,200 units in total. The buildings would have commercial businesses on the ground floor, and there would be a pedestrian plaza with underground parking spaces. The site is located within 300 meters of Trim Station on the O-Train East Extension, and the towers would look over the Ottawa River. The plan would still need to be approved by a city committee and council. A lot of hands out ahead of the province delivering its next budget. More than a dozen Ottawa organizations making their pitch for funding today. Among them, the Queensway Carleton Hospital, recently in the news because of long wait times. They say more money could help. CTV's Austin Lee was at today's pre-budget consultations. Austin.
Well, Patricia, the Queensway Carleton Hospital is requesting $15 million over 3 years for the establishment of a Health Technologies Innovation Transition Fund, which would introduce AI healthcare tools. And that would serve not only the West Ottawa Hospital, but also others right across the region. It's a challenging time at the Queensway Carleton Hospital.
We're currently in the peak of an influenza outbreak in the community. This week we had capacity at 120%.
Now the hospital is pushing for funding to expand. And that's not all. The hospital's president and CEO says AI-powered technology could help to alleviate some of the pressure.
Some of these IT technologies actually will survey the patients that are in the waiting room and help detect signs that somebody is deteriorating while waiting in the emergency waiting room.
The Queensway Carleton Hospital, along with several other medical centres across Eastern Ontario, are now asking the province for $15 million over 3 years to implement new made-in-Ontario AI tech.
It also allows for surveillance of all of the inpatients. So if for some reason there's something that's indicating there's some worsening of your condition, the technology is able to alert the staff in real time.
AI tools can also improve patient flow through hospitals, optimizing the use of beds. The technology is already in use at Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, where time to see a doctor has reportedly dropped by 55%, freeing up more than 700 hours of emergency room capacity.
These are good initiatives. You know what? If we believe it or not, if that's our future, AI is coming.
But even if these technologies come to the Queensway Carleton Hospital, capacity is still an issue.
They have a plan to build that's ready to go as soon as the funding is there. And so I really hope that the funding is in the budget this year so that people in the West End of Ottawa have very timely access to health care.
Our emergency department was built to see 63,000 patients a year. We're currently seeing north of 83,000 patients, and that's projected to grow to about 100,000 by 2029.
The exact release date for the 2026 Ontario budget is not yet clear, but it will likely be released in either March or April. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Austin Lee live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, an Ottawa man is facing charges after a human trafficking investigation in the capital. Police say a female victim came forward in November about alleged offences that took place between 2022 and 2024. 25-year-old Lakil McCarthy is facing multiple charges, including trafficking in persons under 18, advertising another person's sexual services, and sexual assault. Investigators believe there could be other victims and have released his photo. They say he used several aliases, including Lucky number 13, and 13. OPP are investigating after a pedestrian was struck by a tractor-trailer near Cornwall last night. Police were called to a business on Boundary Road around 10:30 p.m. after a man was struck in the parking lot. He was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A public service worker in Ottawa is calling out the federal government's insurance plan after her daughter, who is chronically ill and battling cancer, was denied coverage. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with the details. Katie.
Patricia, Julie Jewett's daughter Lily was prescribed a weight loss drug amid cancer treatment, but her plan won't cover the cost because it's not approved for kids under 12.
8-year-old Lily Jewett is full of joy.
She is a happy kid. She loves Taylor Swift. She loves playing with her friends. She does Special Olympics.
She's also always hungry.
You want more popcorn? All day with Lily, she tells me that she's hungry and she wants food. It's constant. It never ends.
Lily was diagnosed with a brain tumor when she was 4 months old. She's been through a number of surgeries with many complications, including a stroke, seizures, and vision loss. The most recent
ended up significantly damaging the part of her brain that controls her hormones, her appetite, her metabolism, her sleep.
It means that for her age and height, Lily is considered obese.
She definitely has the capacity to learn to walk, but the weight is a huge hindrance on that.
So a doctor prescribed weight loss drug Wegovy, but Mom Julie's health insurance plan with the federal government won't cover the cost because the drug isn't approved for use in kids under 12.
That's exceptionally disappointing for me and very worrisome about insurance being able to dictate treatment for kids.
In a statement, the Treasury Board of Canada Secretariat says the plan does not cover expenses for prescription drugs to treat a condition not recommended by the manufacturer, known as off-label use, or that do not meet Health Canada approved indications, even if a prescription from a medical health practitioner is submitted. A spokesperson with insurance company Canada Life says while it empathizes with all those who are facing difficult health challenges, the Government of Canada determines what is covered under their plan, and Canada Life must administer claims in compliance with it. Jewett has appealed the decision twice. 2 months ago, she wrote to the president of the Treasury Board Secretariat, but hasn't heard back. She says she's hoping the decision will be overturned using logic and compassion. Pediatricians say it's not unusual for a child to be prescribed a drug off-label.
Somewhere between, we estimate, 50 and 80% of pediatric prescribing is off-label, but it doesn't mean it's off evidence. It doesn't mean that it's experimental.
For now, the Jewett family waits for another appeal decision.
It's not lost on us that there's not a high chance that she's going to outlive Jeff and I, and that we just want to give her the best quality of life that we can. And so waiting 4 years to see if we can get coverage and to see if this is going to help her feels exceptionally wrong and unfair.
And Julie says she feels like she's running out of options, but won't stop advocating. She's now looking at a potential human rights complaint. Patricia.
CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, in Quebec, Premier François Legault is stepping down.
I'm seeing now that currently many Quebecers are hoping and wanting a change in Premier. For the good of my party and especially for the good of Quebec, I'm announcing today that I will be resigning my position as the Premier of Quebec.
The move comes as his party continues to drop in the polls ahead of the provincial election in the fall. His party, CAQ, formed 2 majority governments since 2018. Legault says he will remain in his role until the party chooses a new leader. And in Ontario, Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie has officially resigned from her role effective immediately. The former mayor of Mississauga won the Liberal leadership race in 2023. However, in last year's provincial election, her party finished 3rd and she failed to win a seat. Last September, Crombie had said she would step aside when the party chose a new leader, but there is still no timeline for a leadership contest. A Canadian prime minister is back on Chinese soil for the first time in almost a decade. Mark Carney arrived in China today as his government looks to expand trade amid tensions with the U.S. He's set to meet with business leaders and government officials to discuss trade, agriculture, and energy.
The president has made his view clear, and we have a different position.
Meantime, officials from Denmark and Greenland sit down for high-stake talks with J.D. Vance and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the White House today. It appears the Trump administration is not changing its stance on acquiring Greenland, but Denmark officials say they will not allow it to be owned by the states. Well, concerns are being raised about the city's aging infrastructure after a water main burst not once, but twice on Baseline Road. The pipe failed again just hours after repairs, jamming up traffic along the busy east-west corridor for 2 days. Eastbound lanes of Baseline between Fisher and Lexington are open again now after a second fix this afternoon, but plunging temperatures tonight are creating new worries. Here's CTV's Kimberly Fowler.
Emergency repairs disrupted the commute along Baseline Road for a second day in a row.
When they flushed that line as part of a final process, the water main ruptured again.
A broken water main just east of Fisher Avenue after pipes broke underground twice.
It does call into question the age of water infrastructure. At what point do we renew it before we have these types of breaks?
On Tuesday afternoon, city crews contained the water and returned Wednesday morning to complete repairs. Water main breaks are usually the result of changes in temperature. When water freezes in a pipe, it expands inside and can cause the pipe to burst. Other factors could include aging pipes, soil shifting or corrosion, and accidental damage from construction. This water main break on Baseline Road is the latest infrastructure issue here in Ottawa. During the 2 weeks over the Christmas holidays, the city responded to over 30 reports of leaks or broken water mains. The water main is made of cast iron and was installed in 1957. The city says cast iron typically doesn't react well to sudden pressure drops or sudden pressure increases when valves are not opened slowly, and that could have been what led it to break for the second time. The city also says the overall water main system is in good condition and regularly monitored for problems like this. Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
When the province introduced this camera idea, they said it was all supported by data. So where's the data to suggest that it needs to be taken down now?
Well, just ahead, how are things going 2 months after speed cameras went dark? We head to a school zone to talk to residents. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. We are hanging out at the Herringate Community Outdoor Work because we have found a rink operator. Will Davey, you have taken up the call. Have you started today? You broke ground?
Yeah, I started getting things compacted today. I've been out here since 10 o'clock this morning, and I've still got a lot of work to do.
But you are loving the snow that's on its way?
It's going to help fill in those thin patches, that's for sure.
All right, we've got at least one person ready and excited for the snowfall coming here to Ottawa. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam showcasing Elgin Street, and the current temperature, 2 degrees.
Abused for years by a monster.
Why isn't anybody coming?
Behind the worst mass killing in Canadian history.
As soon as he said it's too late, I thought I need help.
Sunday night, right after the game on CTV and Crave.
Today's Snow Report brought to you by Some Edelweiss, where happiness falls from the sky.
Well, here is today's snow report. Then a lot of snow is going to be falling from the sky. But right now at Edelweiss, about 4 centimeters of new snow with a base of more than 30 centimeters. Good skiing conditions are on the way as we take a look around the rest of our region at the ski hills that are open. Mont Cascade has 4 lifts going and 13 runs. All 3 lifts at Calabogie Peaks with 15 runs available. All 4 lifts at Fort Lodge and 11 runs, 5 of 7 at Camp Fortune, and 15 runs open to skiers and snowboarders.
JS here again, reminding you where to find the best ski and ride conditions, the best snowmaking, the quickest lifts, and your favorite runs. Come ski with me at Summit Edelweiss.
Well, today marks 2 months since photo radar was shut down across the province, and in Ottawa, new numbers show a grim reality. Far fewer motorists are pumping the brakes through community safety zones. Here's CTV's Tyler Fleming.
The cameras are gone, and it seems so is much of the slowing down.
When the province introduced this camera idea, they said it was all supported by data. So where's the data to suggest that it needs to be taken down now?
Back in October, Giovanni Carlucci told CTV News Ottawa photo radar should stay in front of schools.
We do prioritize the safety of our children.
His opinion hasn't changed, but Carlucci says enforcement alone was never the answer. He's long argued that drivers slow for cameras, then speed up again, making traffic calming key around schools.
If you get somebody who's driving a rickety car down the street and they hit a speed bump, right? That guy hits a speed bump, what happens? Is it better that he ends up with a $70 fine, or is it better that he ends up with a $700 plus bill at the mechanic at the end of the day? That's for him to decide.
And along Cambrian Road in Barhaven is a perfect example.
And when summertime comes out, they'll be racing again.
Now, 2 months after the province banned speed cameras.
Well, as you can see, this is so driving so fast.
The city continues to track speeds in these zones. Now, back when the cameras were on, nearly 9 out of 10 drivers complied. 3 weeks after the cameras shut off, that dropped to half.
So now we deal with reality of having more policing. They're going to be very aggressive to ensure, especially in front of schools, that people adhere to the speed limit or you're getting a ticket. There's not going to be a whole series of warnings. Again, you're going to face big fines and penalties because we want to keep our pedestrians and our children safe.
While the province promises big signs and flashing lights, the cost remains unclear.
Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be successful in slowing people down, and we have to look at other measures to be able to control traffic.
Without a proven fix, Carlucci says it's time for drivers to answer one simple question.
Why are you speeding in a school zone?
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Well, residents in the city are preparing for a large dump of snow overnight. The ice was still melting on the Rideau River along Strathcona Park earlier today, but temperatures are expected to drop rapidly tonight, with Environment Canada calling for up to 25 centimeters of snow. Certainly don't want to be speeding in those conditions that are on the way as we head back out to Herongate. And Jackie for a full look at the weather forecast. Jackie.
Yes, Patricia, and what we're looking at temperatures as well. It's not just the snowfall that we're anticipating, but again, a dip in the temperatures after what we feels like a week of mild conditions. We still have one more night for these mild temperatures. Even right now, the temperature right now sitting around 2 degrees. We saw a daytime high of about 4, but the wind is going to start to pick up. And then instead of the southwesterly winds moving in, we're going to get winds from the north. And this is really going to affect how cold it's going to get. So those puddles that we're seeing from the snow melt, we are likely going to see that freeze into the overnight and tomorrow morning. So slick conditions for tomorrow morning. Here's a closer look at the storm that we are tracking. So clear until we get closer to the midnight hour. So closer to Kingston and Brockville, that's when we'll start to see the snow moving in. Don't be surprised by tomorrow morning that really most of Eastern Ontario will be covered with the snowfall. So tomorrow might start out lighter here in Ottawa, but then the greater chance for heavier rain or snowfall, I should say, is around the 3 o'clock hour. This has prompted a snowfall warning, as mentioned, up to 25 centimeters of snow. This is in place until Thursday evening. So when we do look at the temperatures as well, we did mention those temperatures dropping this evening. -10 is the overnight low, -16 and 18 in Pembroke and Bancroft. So you can really see that coming from the northwest, the winds starting to bring down our mild temperatures that we have seen over the last several days. Taking a look at tomorrow's highs, not going to get much warmer. -9 the daytime high for Ottawa, but -12 in the Valley, -7, -8 in Kingston and Brockville. And the snow is just going to keep coming for the rest of our Thursday. Now, taking a look at conditions across the country, different story for our friends at the Atlantic, where temperatures are still mild. Fredericton, Charlottetown, 4 degrees. It's 7 degrees in Halifax. Much of the Arctic air really focusing on Quebec as well as Northern Ontario. -18 in Timmins, -13 in Thunder Bay. And while it is -14 in Winnipeg, you can see that we've kind of switched over with our friends in the prairies, where they're now getting the warmer temperatures. It's 7 degrees in Edmonton, 14 and sunny in Calgary, and it's 11 degrees in Vancouver, but they're getting the rain instead of the snow that we are anticipating here in Ottawa. So here's a closer look. Thursday by the evening, it will be clearing. Friday, we will be getting a little bit of some sunshine moving in, but then the clouds will roll in by the afternoon, where we could see the return of some flurries to wrap up our work week. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast, brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Center, celebrating over 80 years in family business. So Thursday, an additional 10 to 15 centimeters of snow overall. Friday, periods of snow will continue. Saturday, Sunday, yes, the flurries will also return, but temperatures will be averaging around -8, -9. It won't be until Tuesday, Patricia, that we could see the return of some sunshine and a little bit of that cloud cover. So winter is here. It's good news for people who do want these outdoor rinks, maybe the canal to open as well again in time for when we look towards our February winterlude activities. We will be speaking to the rink operator as well as Marty Carr, because there are a lot of outdoor community rinks that are in need of volunteers. So more on that in just a bit.
Love that he stepped up and is excited about the snow too. It's perfect. Jackie, thank you very much.
We are embarking on the 48th edition of Winterlude.
Well, just ahead, Canadian Heritage announces the details for this year's Winterlude Festival, and there are some changes you need to know about. We'll share those details after the break. Well, now some other stories you need to know right now. After a disappointing start to 2026, the Sens have managed to snap their 4-game losing streak. CTV's Stephan Keys joins us now with the details on this and other stories. Steph.
Yes, Patricia, fans are hoping things go up from here after last night's win on home ice against the Vancouver Canucks.
Bill McCrary. Here's Zoop scores!
Things got off to a strong start when Artem Zoop scored the first period. They scored another one just minutes later to make it 2-0. The final score was 2-1. The Sens are back in action tonight in New York, facing off against the Rangers. Puck drop is 7:30.
It back once again through traffic, and they score!
While the Sens were able to end their losing streak, the Ottawa Charge were unable to continue their winning one. They lost to the Victoire 2-1 last night in Montreal, putting an end to a 6-game winning streak. Up next, the Charge head to New York for a game against the Sirens next Tuesday. Very smooth. Ottawa Jazz Festival has announced the first wave of headliners. Hollywood star Jeff Goldblum and the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra will be one of the main performers. The jazz band released its first studio album in 2018. Willow Smith, The Dip, and the Soul Rebels are other headliners. The festival will take place from June 19th to the 28th at Confederation Park. Tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m.
What's really exciting over at Snowflake Kingdom is we're actually going to be including this year a great big giant Ferris wheel.
Canadian Heritage announced the lineup and programming for Winterlude today, and Jazz Fest isn't the only event taking place at Confederation Park. The Winter Festival will be returning to the space for the first time since 2018. This year, the ice sculptures will be built in Confederation Park instead of on Sparks Street. Snowflake Kingdom will be back at Jacques Cartier Park in Gatineau. Winterlude kicks off January 30th and runs until February 16th. And as you heard, there will also be a Ferris wheel at the site, Patricia, which sounds like a ton of fun for those who enjoy that type of ride.
Which is not you.
No.
And then in the winter sort of sounds a little scarier, maybe.
A little chillier up there, too.
What do I do about Jacques Cartier Park now that my kids are grown? Love the slides, love the taffy.
Just take me, I'm short enough.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do the Ferris wheel. And Jackie, maybe Jackie will come along too, because you're all about winter, certainly tonight. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm very excited for all these activities. And if you are looking for an activity, very soon, the Heron Gate Community Rink is going to open. But it wasn't always the case. Just a week ago, Marty Carr, you put out a call because this place was struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd lost our longtime operator of the rink. And so for the first time in many years, we were not going to have an outdoor rink here in Herongate in Sandalwood Park. So I put out a call in my Facebook. You guys covered the story. And we were very lucky to have gotten Will to volunteer that same day.
Let's go talk to Will. We're going to walk on over there. He's hard at work today. We were breaking ground. The aim, Will, was to get this open and ready to go January 17th. How realistic is this?
I thought it was pretty realistic, and then Mother Nature had other ideas.
It did, but good ideas for you at least.
Yes, the snow coming tonight is definitely going to help to reinforce this base, and then I can start getting some flooding going and get this operating to like really give back to the community, give the kids something to do, and just give me some joy in the wintertime, because you get those winter blues.
Yes, and you do have a couple of volunteers behind you, but what inspired you to step up and take on the role as rink operator? Because this is a volunteer run and a volunteer led rink.
So I've got some connections to this neighborhood throughout my life, and I've seen how underprivileged it has been at times and still in some contexts is today. And so with that being the case, I'm like, I want to give back to the community. I have no problem doing something in a very privileged neighborhood, but the fact that it's an underprivileged neighborhood is just, it called me. I was like, yes, I have to do this.
Well, thank you so much for stepping up. I hope you inspire others as well. I want to bring Marty Carr back into this very quickly. This is not the only rink as well that needs volunteers.
No, we have two rinks still without an operator, one in Hawthorne Meadows and one in Sheffield Glen. And then some of our other rinks need volunteers as well. They've got operators, but there are a couple rinks within the community. Bellina Park is a good example that still need volunteers. Will's still looking for some volunteers here. So there are people willing in the community, they can email me and I'll set them up with somebody.
We really appreciate it. Thank you, Marty. And again, thank you, Will, for stepping up. And shout out to Kyle and his dad for helping out as well. We're going to take it back to you, back in studio, Patricia, while we continue to prep this rink ready to go, because February 8th, there is a Winterfest happening at Herongate. Those details in a bit.
Get it done. Thank you, Jackie.
We're so proud of that show. Basically, I don't think I'm exaggerating by saying the hottest show globally right now.
Heated rivalry, a major win for Bell streaming service Crave, but it's not always that easy to produce a winner. We cover a challenging but promising business landscape in a sit-down with the president and CEO of our parent company, BCE, next.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Well, he is the president and CEO of Canada's largest telecommunications company, BCE, and Bell Canada, in charge of not just the wireless and phone company, but also the media business with Bell Media and Crave. Mirko Bibic runs the whole company, and that company is the parent of CTV News Ottawa. And we're very pleased he is here to join us in Ottawa for an interview. Good evening to you.
Thanks for having me, Patricia.
Appreciate you being here. And can we start with something positive?
Sure.
For once. Heated rivalry. Just an absolute knockout hit on Crave. I don't know if anyone could have predicted it would be exactly what it is, but is it a priority for you to create Canadian content like that?
It absolutely is. We're so proud of that show. Basically, I don't think I'm exaggerating by saying the hottest show globally right now. It has been a strategic imperative of the Bell Media leadership to produce more Canadian originals and take control of distributing it, that content, that great content that we produce internationally. So the short answer to your question is yes. I'll give you a data point. In December, 6 of the top 10 viewed shows on Crave were Canadian, and over 50% of the top 100 shows viewed in December on Crave, Canadian. And Crave's on fire. It's growing so fast because it's so good.
Crave is on fire, and you've talked about meeting people where they are. I want to ask you about local news and the option of watching local news on Crave, but what is your commitment at Bell to local news, how people are watching us right now?
So at Bell Media, we've got 3 key things we want to do: lead in premium entertainment, lead in sports, lead in news. And we want to deliver those types of content on digital platforms, because that's how consumers engage with content. So what's super important is local and national news delivered all times of the day for viewers, and that's on digital platforms. And again, good news is we are the #1 digital news publisher in the country. A few short years ago, we certainly were not. So it's been a big push. It's been very successful, and I think local news in Ottawa is the #1 digital news publisher in the local market. So that's great. And have
we're very proud of that
very,
team. Yes.
very recently putting news on Crave, which really is the future of content distribution, shows the commitment we have to both local and national news. We're putting it on Crave.
Well, in this fast evolving media world, let me ask you about AI, and should people working in media, in telecommunications, should they have concern that AI could be something that will cost them their job down the road?
I think we need to embrace AI. It's transformative. It's the biggest thing since the advent of the internet. We've got to lean in, and if we lean into AI, both in terms of how we use it within BCE, and that would include Bell Media, I think it'd make people even that much more effective. And then this is how we're going to better serve customers, we're going to better serve viewers, we're going to better serve listeners. So we got to use it internally to better serve our customers, and we also have a big growth agenda in AI by using AI, delivering AI services to our government and enterprise customers to generate revenue to further grow BCE.
Embrace it. Don't be scared
You've
of
got to
it.
embrace it.
Okay. In this current political climate, amid a trade war with the U.S., digital sovereignty is something that a lot of Canadians are concerned about. I've heard you speak about it quite passionately. How is Bell protecting Canadians' data?
I sum it up like this. We don't want anyone to be able to turn Canada off. So that's where the notion of sovereignty comes in, having the technology landscape controlled by Canadian companies for Canadians built in Canada. And that's what we're leaning into.
And you can watch the full interview with Mirko Bibic on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, just ahead, we'll have tonight's top financial stories from the VNN Bloomberg newsroom. Chorus is reporting a revenue drop of 18% as the entertainment company deals with slumping ad income. VNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
Chorus Entertainment reporting a loss of $11 million in its latest quarter. And that's compared to a profit of about $12 million a year ago. The company is in the middle of restructuring, with its TV and radio businesses struggling. It's hoping to reduce debt by more than $500 million. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar almost unchanged at 72.03. West Texas Intermediate is up to 61.88. Western Canadian Select is up almost $1.50 to 46.46. And the TSX gained 46 points to hit another record close above 32,900. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Well, coming up, a senior cat has found his forever home after he was adopted by a local politician. Details on that just ahead. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. Well, after the rainfall, we have a little bit of a break, but when is that snow coming? Well, it should be closer to midnight, especially along the Seaway. Here's a closer look at what we can anticipate tomorrow morning. The slight snow moving through. The best chance for heavy snow moving in will be in the afternoon, so it will make for a messy commute, not just in the morning, but the evening as well. But clear conditions for our Friday, so you have time to dig yourself out of the snow. Here's a live look. There are Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The wind's already picking up for parts of Ottawa. Current temperature sitting at 2 degrees.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
We want to know a little bit more about that snow that is on the way. Back out to Jackie at Herongate tonight, and there's going to be a lot of it, Jackie.
There is going to be a lot of it. So it's very clear conditions right now, not much in terms of snow or precipitation. So a little bit of that rain break. But taking a look at our next 24 hours, you can see that closer to midnight. That's when the snow is going to start falling, at least here in Ottawa. It's going to carry us through. Don't be surprised to see about 3 to 5 centimeters by the tomorrow morning. Minus 13 is what the wake-up weather is going to be, but it's going to feel closer to minus 23. And then as we carry on closer to noon, we're going to see additional 1 centimeter of snow every hour or so moving through. The greatest chance for heaviest snowfall will likely be in the early part of the afternoon. So while we might think that it will be a messy commute in terms of the cold conditions, slick, icy roads from the puddles, it will be the afternoon that it will be slushy, it will be snowy, and it will also be slick. So tomorrow will be a challenge when you are out and about in the city. So stay safe, try to be cautious, plan your travel very early. We'll take it back to you in studio, Patricia and Stefan.
All right, Jackie, thank you. We'll let you get back to the rink building that is happening in behind her right there. We want to take a look at what our news team is working on for tonight. Steph is here for the 11:30.
Yeah, Patricia, tonight we're bringing viewers the final installation of the medical tourism reports we've been showing since Monday, but we'll also have this story. We know that southern and eastern Ontario will get a healthy serving of snow tonight and into tomorrow, but for one woman in this province, it could be especially unpleasant. In a nutshell, this senior has been waiting for windows at her apartment since late last year. After being more than patient, she's now going public with her story. So she's thinking she might have to move in with her kids for the time being, but, you know, blowing snow, there's already been a squirrel that's gotten in there. You can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca, and join us tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
All right, good stuff, Steph. Thank you. And finally for us tonight, Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe has a new pet. He and his family adopted this senior cat from Furry Tales Cat Rescue. It does have an infectious disease. It's called feline immunodeficiency virus. Furry Tales says Sutcliffe is setting a great example, showing that cats with the virus can live long, happy lives, and that senior cats still have lots of love to give. Now, this is the interesting part. The cat was
Yes.
named Tofu. But Sutcliffe has renamed him. They are going with Bruce.
I'm
instead.
so interested in that choice.
Said he looks like a Bruce.
It looks like a Bruce.
You're interested in the tofu part or the?
No, the rename.
Yeah.
Especially for a senior cat. Hopefully Tofu knows to respond to Bruce now.
Yeah, he's now
And then
Bruce.
it's Bruce.
New home. Good life. I
Such a
imagine
human
it's a
name
pretty good life
for a
at the
feline
Mayor's, I would
friend.
think. With the kids. Lights are up at the rink. They're ready to go over at Herongate, just in time for the snow.